there's a potential situation where it felt like it was never going to happen, where LeBron could catch Jordan in championships. He could get 6 rings with Luka Doncic on his team, right? But even at 6 rings, it's still not Mike. Yeah, boy. Welcome to another episode of The Fumble. I'm Rodney, Rikai, Samaria, Terry in the building. Got the whole shoulders out today. Arm day in the gym. What's happening? Like Hulk Hogan.
How you doing today, Rodney?
I'm very playful. That's how I'm doing.
I love your sweatshirt.
Oh, gotta rep the ladies. The ladies, you feel me? Has your week been well? Is your spirit doing good? You're in a new home. How's the new home going for you?
It's nice. I feel like it's kind of echoey. Hello.
That's how big her house is, y'all. She getting too much money. She wearing cut-off dress vests. She got a new house with echoes. Yo, Samaria is living her best upper middle class, fiance life. And I love that for her. It's beautiful to see, my sister.
Rodney, I feel like every other week you in a new city, traveling. Please miss me with that, please.
You tried it. I'm ready to talk some sports because you about to start telling my personal business.
You was just in an igloo. You was just in a glass igloo, man. Please. Let's okay.
Yeah, let's get to some sports then. I'm sorry. I won't say nothing else about you. My fault.
All right, Rodney, we got to talk about the controversial knee taken by Gervonta Davis during his fight against Lamont Roach Saturday night. Of course, in round 9, Davis appears to take a knee, and then he goes and gets his face wiped down with the towel. Of course, this should have been called a knockdown, but was missed by legendary referee Steve Willis. That ultimately cost Roach the WBA lightweight title, or many people think that. So after the bout, it was Davis that was the most shocked by the fight ending in a draw. He later came out and said what happened in round 9 was that he had hair grease in his eyes from getting his hair done 2 days prior to the fight. However, the hairstylist is saying that she did his hair the Wednesday before and that she didn't even use grease. Rodney, what is your reaction to the outcome of the fight and what the hairstylist had to say?
This is why I hate social media, is because it gives a platform to people who should be voiceless. And I say that with all love and respect, but with truth and honesty underneath it, right? Like this young woman who did his hair, instead of like being on the side of your client and kind of like creating an opportunity for people to recognize you as a hairstylist who is not a goofy and creating more business for yourself, you decided to be a clout chaser and say some disparaging things about probably your most expensive client. It's just dumb. And I think that social media just, it intoxicates people to feel like they got to say things that they shouldn't. Just shut up and do hair, and you can be paid a lot of money. You, if anything, come out and say, yeah, I did go a little heavy on the grease. You protect your multi-million-dollar client, fam. You don't ostracize them.
You think it's okay that Tank got up there and said, I basically lost this fight because my hairstylist put too much grease. Like, that's really taking a jab at her. And she's saying, like, wait a second. Why is that a jab?
How was that a jab?
He's lying. I did your hair Wednesday. I didn't do your hair Thursday or Friday. I did your hair Wednesday.
Samaria. If I got a lie to protect my multi-million-dollar brand and you doing hair out of your kitchen, you shut up and you get on my team. Even if I'm lying, you shut up and you ride the bandwagon that's compensating you. This is how you protect brands.
How do you know they still working together?
Did she just do his hair for his most recent fight?
Yes, but I'm saying obviously he just called her out and said that there was too much hair grease in his hair.
Did he put a name on that bullet? Did he say her name? Yeah, Shorty be doing my hair. She be going heavy handed on the grease. No, it wasn't about her. It's not about her. I am the biggest draw in boxing right now. Anything that I say is not does not revolve around you. And so to inject yourself and to make yourself a public figure now by speaking out is going to be to your detriment, because now I know that you don't even know how to like shut up. And there's an art to shutting up. She don't know it.
But I think that you need to protect your brand. Everybody knows who his hairstylist is.
Samaria, you knew who she was before 2 days ago?
Let me tell you something. I do not look at Gervonta Davis stuff like that.
So do you think that most people follow Gervonta Davis's hairstylist? Is that what you think? Have you seen her Instagram page?
I'm sure some people probably do, but I don't.
What I'm saying is, in within a curated bubble, sure, people know who she is, maybe in her community locally, but she put herself on a national platform now to be a part of a conversation that is not good for business, right? Like, let's say, for instance, there's a client of hers who's thinning, and they need additional help or support or with their hair. Now they're like, damn, this person might out me because my thinning, and I don't know, like if I got to go on a public
I don't
platform, maybe
think
she's
so.
going to.
I think, Rodney, this is
I'm
what I feel
telling
like.
you,
Everybody
yo.
obviously was talking about him taking a knee. That was the biggest thing, him wiping, getting his face wiped down. People were trying to figure that out in real time, right? So then after that, he comes out and says, oh, I had too much hair grease in my hair and I just got my hair done. So now people are going to find who his hairstylist is.
Wait, wait, wait. Samaria, does she have other boxing clients that having grease in their hair is going to stop them from being able to fight a championship bout? I'm sorry, is she? Is that what you saying her clientele
Rodney, I'm
base
saying I
is?
think that we need to understand that, like you just said, social media is a thing. And you don't feel like people were coming over there attacking her if they're fans. Like, why did you put so much grease in his head? And now he says he can't see because of all the grease. You don't
That's not
think that
how.
she felt
Yeah,
compelled to
I
respond
don't
to
think that
people
you.
because people were blaming her? I think
No.
so.
No,
Okay.
I think she felt compelled to respond because this is what people do. If you are in a service industry, right? I don't give a damn if you a cook, if you a nanny, electrician, a plumber. Do not come to my house and tell people what goes on in my home. If I say like, yeah, man, my toilet was clogged up, I don't need you going behind and be like, yeah, he be taking big. I ain't had nothing to do with his piping. I didn't install the piping. Like, don't just.
Rodney, the point of the matter is we all know that there was not any grease in his eye. So
We don't
why
know
would
that.
you get
Why do we know that? Why do we know that?
Rodney?
Why do we know that? I'm
Rodney,
sorry,
there
dude.
was no grease in that man's head.
Yo, you make that's a wild assumption
There
to make.
was no grease in his eyes. So for you to then get out and come out of your way to say, "Oh, it was grease in my eyes,"
Okay, so then why do you think he took a knee?
it was not grease from his head. He
Why
took
do
a knee
you?
because he probably got hit in the he got hit. Did he not get hit in his face?
Okay, and so do you think that that is something to take a knee for?
Obviously, he felt like he needed to take a knee. You can't do that. So why did he do it?
Do you feel like he needed to take a knee or that was a knee worthy hit?
I don't know what was going on in his mind. Obviously, he was getting hit before. I feel like I'm saying I think that he took a knee because he was getting ready to like
He was getting ready to what?
probably fall down.
No, he wasn't. That's not
Rodney.
even
Rodney.
what
Okay,
took
you're not even
place.
supposed to take a knee though.
You can actually in boxing rules, you are actually allowed to take a knee,
Is that not
right?
but that's
And
considered a knockdown.
no, if you have a no. See, that's not the rule. If there is a
Okay.
physical exchange and then you take a knee, then that is one thing. What he did was they had a physical exchange. He backed up. There was no liver shot for a delayed reaction. He backed up, was prepared to fight, but he had something in his eye clearly. Gervonta took a lot more vicious punches in that match that nearly wobbled him and nearly made him really take a knee. That wasn't the case in this instance. He clearly had something in his eye. I don't understand how you don't want to put yourself in the position of his shoes by envisioning what actually went into his eye, but you're very adamant about the fact that it wasn't grease.
What I'm saying is he could have just said something was in my eye. The point of the matter is, Rodney, he could have said something was in my eye and I needed to get my face wiped down. Why did you then have to come out and put your hairstylist on blast saying there was too much grease in my head? That's what I'm saying. So she has every right to come out and defend herself.
Do you think it helps her? Okay, last thing. Do you think it helps or hurt her to come out and make these statements, saying all of these things about Tank Davis? Or do you think it would have helped or hurt her had she just been like, I do Tank Davis's hair? What do you think is more beneficial to her career going forward?
I mean, I feel like she's probably still going to have the same clientele. She may even have more clientele because she has more exposure. I think that it hurt Tank Davis because it clearly seems like he's spiraling over here. Like, we're not even talking about all of the other things that he's doing. He's tardy all the time. He was yelling at his trainer. Like, he just put his hairstylist on blast. Like, clearly it seems like some things going on in his personal life. And I feel like his hairstylist had every right to come out and defend herself. Yeah, clearly Rodney and I cannot get to any common ground on this. So we want to hear from you all. What did you make of the way that Tank Davis called out his hairstylist for having too much grease in his hair? And do you feel like it was right for her to then come out and defend herself. We want to hear from you.
All right, the NBA took a major loss this week as my favorite player, Kyrie Irving, tore his ACL, effectively ending his season. Now, the Luka trade really only happened because the Mavericks had Kyrie Irving, who they feel like is just as talented with the ball in his hand, but a better leader. And now with this injury and the injury to Anthony Davis, it's not just this season, but the next 15 years of the Dallas Mavericks feels like it's very, very bleak. Samaria, is the Luka Doncic trade the worst trade in NBA history?
It depends on who you ask. I think the rest of us, or all of us, feel like that was probably the stupidest trade. But apparently, the owners, I feel like this is what they wanted. Like, I mean, I don't know who they worship, but they doing some black magic or something, because they wanted a situation where they would be able to twist Texas legislature's arms so that they can get this casino in American Airlines Center. If not, they said they would go to Vegas and take the Mavericks there. So it seems like, unfortunately, everything is working in their favor. They traded Luka to the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis got hurt the first night that he played, and now Kyrie is out for the year. I mean, everything bad that could happen has happened. And if I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, I am highly upset with everything that's going on. But like I said, the owners, they wanted a situation where legislature would come and change and say, you know, actually you can have a casino. I don't know why they want a casino so bad, but they might
What
get
do you
it.
mean? Well, casinos print money. So yeah, it would make sense to be I think the only casino in Texas.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of years ago, Rudy Gobert, my least favorite player in the NBA, was traded for, a well of fortune from the Utah Jazz to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that was by far the worst trade that I had ever seen. But this takes the cake. I don't know if you have been watching the Lakers play lately. They looking like championship contenders. I ain't gonna lie to you. They looking good, man. And Luka had taken 2 months off of basketball as he healed from an injury. And in 3 weeks, man, you leverage the entire future of your franchise for the next decade and a half for two guys who are often injured. And that's just not a smart business decision, right? Like, you had somebody that you could really put the franchise on his back. You had him. You had this same approach with Dirk Nowitzki, right? Like, Dirk was in Dallas for 20 years. And he's somebody who helped you win one championship, excuse me. But like, I don't understand why you don't replicate that same play. I don't know anything about the Texas legislature stuff. I'm not sure, because I don't think that this is the team that's going to be moving to Las Vegas, which I think is going to be LeBron James's team whenever he officially retires in 2 or 3 years. So this is a team that ultimately might wind up in like Seattle. And the Seattle Mavericks is not that sexy. And I just think that this ownership group, which is very new, obviously Mark Cuban owned the team for a long time. This ownership group, I don't know what their intentions are. They have very interesting political ties. And I think that they are taking a play from some of their political inspirations to just create chaos.
That's obviously what they're doing.
Yeah. But it's bad business. It's bad business.
It is bad business, but they feel like that's the way that they gotta get what they want. I ultimately feel the worst about Kyrie. I'm just like, it's just really sad, because it seemed like things were really looking up for him after some controversy that he had in previous years. He was the star of the team. This was his team. And so to go out like that, and then to see him shoot his free throws, and I mean, it was just really heartbreaking.
Yeah, very Kobe-esque. Remember Kobe tore his Achilles and then shot his free throws? Yes. Kyrie tore his ACL, shot his free throws. I love that. Mm-hmm. I do feel bad for Kai. This is a year in which he can opt out of his contract, and he was definitely for sure going to be finding probably a max deal this offseason once he opted out of his contract. And now with an injury like this for a guy who turns 33 next week, I don't know what that looks like for him. And that is very unfortunate. But I think the person that he is, right, and who he's shown himself to be, forget what the media has said about Kai, right? Forget the scrutiny and all of that stuff. People love Kyrie Irving because he's solid. He's a solid, motivational, inspirational guy. And so I feel like his fortune, though it may not be as great monetarily as we initially thought it might be, will be phenomenal. And that could be even outside of Dallas. I don't even know if he now wants to continue to be a Dallas Maverick. When you look at this, at the franchise, it looks real bleak. So maybe there's a situation or scenario where Kyrie signs a long-term deal with maybe the Los Angeles Lakers, who always are in need of a point guard, or maybe the New York Knicks, or a slew of maybe you want to go be Wemby's point guard of the future. You know, not well, no, they got De'Aaron Fox, but there are a number of different teams that Kyrie can go to now. And once he's fully healed from this ACL injury in about a year and a half, they're gonna find a special player on their team. So we'll see what happens. Y'all let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Is the Luka Doncic trade the worst trade in NBA history? Let us know your thoughts. We appreciate you.
All right, speaking of LeBron James, Rodney, he became the first player in NBA history to surpass 50,000 career points. Of course, that's both for the regular season and the postseason. Now, this season, Bron is averaging 24 points, 8 rebounds, 8.5 assists at 40 years old. Does this new record shake up the GOAT debate, Rodney?
No, it adds a little sizzle to it, right? But it doesn't shake it up. I love Bron, and it took me a long time to get to a place of like really appreciating who LeBron James is as a basketball talent. He was an acquired taste for me. I was a Jordan guy, then I was a Kobe guy. I loved the fluidity of their games. I loved the skill set that they both possessed, and LeBron was never quite that. He was more of a athlete who was lumbering. He was huge and physical, and that just wasn't my favorite brand of basketball. But if anything that I could say, this 50,000 point mark really just is a nod to how serious he took his craft. And I think in these times, especially, to be a craftsman in any industry is one of the more complimentary things that you could say about anybody. His commitment to his physical health, how much money he has invested into sustaining his physicality and athletic ability is second to none. It's all timer. And while he is doing incredible things at his peak, I just still don't feel like he's better than Jordan. And I grade the greatest of all time by who you were at your peak. And LeBron just has never been Jordan for me.
I agree. You just mentioned it in our last segment, though. But do you feel like the way that LeBron is playing with Luka, that they really have a shot at coming out of the West?
They really do.
They really.
I love it. I live in LA. I love it. And there's a case now. There's a potential situation where it felt like it was never going to happen, where LeBron could catch Jordan in championships. He could get 6 rings with Luka Doncic on his team, right? Yeah. But even at 6 rings, it's still not Mike. And I feel bad saying that because I don't know how much more respect I can give Bron, because I really am a fan. Like, I'm a huge fan and supporter. I love him way more off the court than I ever loved Michael Jordan. But I'm just talking about strictly basketball on the court. If I had a kid who wanted to be a basketball player, I would show them tape of Michael Jordan way before I show them tape of LeBron James, because you can't emulate and replicate what LeBron is. And I think Michael Jordan's skill set, to me, was just something that is going to be transferable if you have a commitment to to skill excellence, whereas LeBron is just more of a physical specimen. And so that's how I differentiate the two. I understand those who want to say LeBron is the GOAT. He may, in totality, have had a better career than Mike. But when it comes to playing the game of basketball, I don't think he's a better basketball player than Michael Jordan.
All right, you all let us know down in the comments, what did you make? What do you make of LeBron James passing 50,000 career points? And do you feel like the Los Angeles Lakers now have a solid shot at winning the NBA Finals? All right, folks, we already know that NIL is a huge topic of conversation on this show. And today we've got a very special conversation lined up for you. We're diving into the game-changing world of name, image, and likeness with the minds behind the powerful new documentary, Blue Chippers, Next Man Up. Joining us are the film's creators, writers, directors, and producers, Preston and Derek Dark. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate y'all for having us, man.
Thank you for having us.
I want to talk about your documentary, man. As I told y'all before we started recording, it's absolutely incredible. I loved every single second of it. Storytellers always have an intention when they go out to create a story. For you, what was that intention, and do you feel like you met your goal?
Well, my intention, this film, I'm a high school teacher and coach. So, I would see kids come in as freshmen and, have an aspiration to be like a 3, 4-star, 5-star recruit. They want to play major college football. And, a lot of the kids and also the parents, right? They didn't really know how the recruiting side goes. So I kind of wanted to make this film to serve as a guide to educate this general public about, what it is to be recruited. and let them know how much of a business that recruiting is. So, and I'm kind of feel like I'm reaching that goal of educating the people.
For me, one of the things that I enjoyed the most about the film was that you treated the people in the film like they were human beings. I know I was in local TV for 9 years, and that was something that I didn't like about some of the reporters, is that they treated the athletes like they weren't human. And that was something that you all did in your storytelling. Was that something that you intentionally did? Like, was that something that you came in and was like, look, I want to make sure that there's a human element to these athletes?
Yeah, man, first off, they were kids, man. So like, usually like when we see these kids doing these things on the field, right, we just like we kind of look at them as superhumans, right? They just doing all these amazing, incredible things, but really these kids, these are kids at heart. You know what I mean? Like yeah, they are mature as far as body and what they do on the field, but as far as in the mind, they still have some growth they have to do. So, man, and just like I said, like being a teacher and a coach, like, man, you got to be delicate with these kids because they go through a lot, like a lot.
In making this documentary, do you feel like the stakes of being able to make so much money so young is robbing these kids the opportunity to actually be kids? And is it stealing the joy from the game because it is so business centric so early on for them?
I mean, yeah, it is. It's making it to like a professional level because of the amount of preparedness that they have to put into to get to where they at. So it's taking that whole ability to actually have fun with the game at that particular level. It's taking it away because it's becoming so much of a business, and everything is always just business. And of course, they do the whole thing when they're recruiting you to come to these schools. They showing you all the glitz and glamour, but they're not showing you the real thing. Whenever the athletic director comes down and has that meeting with the coaching staff and says, "Hey, look, hey, you guys need to win some ball games," or "Hey, look, we need for you guys to bring in a better recruiting class." They're getting told by their superiors what they need to do, and if they don't get it done, then they're out. So they're going to project that on the kid. So that's when business becomes business, and that harsh reality sets in. And people need to understand that these people have jobs that they have to answer to someone else about. They have to report to someone else. So, and that what takes the fun out of it for real. Like that is so much for real. And people get lied to and manipulated, and they get themselves put in bad positions. And I'm talking about our young athletes.
I think some of the fun is getting taken out of the game, but also too, it's just helping so many, of the kids, their situations. Like, if you look at college football, majority of it is African American, right? And you can, and a lot of them, right, they come from poverty, they don't come from the best situations. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a give and a take in a sense. Yeah, the fun is taken out, but also too, I get to take care of my family a little bit better.
But that's a small group of people that's able to do that. Not everyone gets that chance.
Do you feel like that's adding more pressure though on these kids to wanna or feel like they have to provide for their families early on?
Yeah, definitely. It puts more pressure on them because you're looking at the end goal is to make as much money as I can. So as those particular young men, some of them come on campus at 17 years old, and their maturity level is not there yet to make an actual decision that a full-grown man would make at a comparable age. So that pressure is enormous on them, and it's going to cause them to do things and act in certain ways that we haven't even seen just yet. So because it just started, this is all new. This ain't been something that they've been doing for 10 years. This is only 3 years removed since the law has been passed.
Do you feel like money is more of, what's the best way to ask this? Do you feel like money can be to the detriment of the amateur athlete reaching his greatest potential?
Yeah, I would just say it's a good side and a bad side. And the good side is that they're making money and they're able to take care of themselves if done correctly. The bad part about it is that, for example, we have one kid that's in our documentary, which is Jacoby. Jacoby was going to Texas A&M, and he was a stud the first year, stud the second year. But then Coach Jimbo Fisher gets fired right after the season. So it's fall. Most kids hop in the transfer portal during the fall period. Well, unfortunately for Jacoby, he was manipulated into staying until the spring semester. But when you go to hop in that transfer portal at the beginning of the spring semester, you have to go to the compliance office and say, hey, look, I don't want to be a part of the team anymore. I would like to enter my name into the transfer portal. But guess what? That off-campus apartment that he was staying in, that car that he was driving, all that was being taken care of by the NIL collective.
That's
And
crazy.
also, his classes was on campus. So now you were staying off campus and you had a car and NIL collective says, we're taking that money back. We're not paying you anymore. Guess what? I'm pretty sure Mees was not there to take care of those things. So he had to withdraw. And it's all because somebody manipulated.
Damn. So he's not in school currently, you're saying, and this is a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, somebody who was slotted to be a draft pick probably next season, and he's not even in school right now.
Not even in school right now.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's not enrolled. Like and like I said, like in the film, like he was a 5-star kid, and you know what a 5-star means, right? 5-star means that you're projected to be a first-round NFL draft pick, right? 3 years removed from high school, and he wasn't in the draft this year. He's at home.
For sure. We appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. You all, if you haven't checked out Blue Chippers, please go check it out. Derek and Preston, let us know how people can watch Blue Chippers right now.
You can go. Blue Chip is available for stream on Apple TV and Amazon Prime.
Yeah, thank you all so much for coming on. You all go and watch it and let us know down in the comments, what did you think of their documentary?
All right, let me get serious and personal real quick, Samaria. I became a father at 22 years old, and it was the most daunting experience of my young life. And it wasn't so much the changing diapers and worrying about the future. It was the fact that I created life with someone that I really did not know. We had never even been on a date, if I can be all the way honest. So as I look at the reports that allege that Anthony Edwards is rejecting the opportunity to have custody or visitation with his youngest child, there actually, if I can be honest, is a part of me that understands it a little bit. I've been there. And honestly, I never really understood how a man couldn't be there for his kids until I had a baby with one that I didn't particularly care for. But I would not be able to look myself in the mirror today if I did not make the decision to be a man and show up for the life that I helped create. Many people refer to Anthony Edwards as a real one. And that's usually because he says whatever he wants at any given moment, and he is a bad man on that court. But in 2025, none of that qualifies you as a real one, because it's the kind of man you are outside of your professional achievements that ultimately determines what kind of man you are. And it is my personal belief that there is nothing real about anyone who does not show up for their kids. Ultimately, Ant is going to do what Ant wants to do, but I hope the people around him help expand his perspective and lock in on what actually matters most. I know that Ant does not desire to be LeBron James, but LeBron is LeBron because of what he does on the court, but also who he is off of it. If Ant doesn't want to lend his greatness to societal issues, I can't do nothing about that, right? I don't even care about that. But what we will not condone for any man, period, is to be an absent father. And that's, if you're not there for your kids, you are. And that's just what it comes down to. In my circle on earth, there's no escaping that. And so for allegedly fumbling the beautiful experience of fatherhood, Anthony Edwards, you are the fumble of the week. But I want to let you know, if at any moment you decide to be a man about your responsibilities, we won't do anything but cheer and applaud you for coming to the realization that fatherhood is the most important work of your life. Samaria, that is my fumble of the week. How do you feel about Anthony Edwards' latest allegations?
I don't know. It's really bad on both sides of this, right? Because I feel like I have said this on a previous episode. At a certain point, he's going to have to wrap it up. Like, you cannot keep making the same mistake. You keep doing it. And you have a lot of children out here. Some of them you don't want, but some of them you do, because we just saw that this week or over the weekend that you were at one of your daughter's first birthday parties. You were very cordial with the mother and all of the things. But then in the same breath, we see reports coming out that you're wanting to just completely sign away your parental rights with your child, with Aisha Howard. And she has let everybody know all of the things. She's released all the text messages. But it's just like, like I said, he has to be better, and women moving forward need to be better. Like, y'all gotta know to stop. Like, this when we was just literally, we just had two people on our show, Preston and Derek, and they were talking about kids. Anthony Edwards is really a kid. He's not fully developed mentally, and he keeps making the same mistake. And so as women, we cannot go into this situation. If you want to sit there and you want to talk to Anthony Edwards, great. If you get pregnant, you need to know.
But they know. And I think for some people, not all.
They probably do know. They probably do know. Yeah. Like, I don't like to cuss, but he ain't gonna be.
Oh, that is my first time hearing you curse on this platform. I am so proud right now.
It's the truth when it comes to him taking care of responsibilities. Because y'all both knew what was going to happen when you did that.
You got to be doing something low down if you got Samaria Terry cursing. Let me tell you. That's wild.
Because I'm tired. It's just like, it's giving, and I'm a woman, so I give, unfortunately, I'm going to give a little bit more tough love to the women. Because it's just like Future. It's like, if you sit up here talking to Future and you get pregnant by Future and you expect Future to be in your child's life, he's probably going to text you the same thing that Aunt texts Aisha. I don't want it. Yeah. And now everybody's upset, and they're up, and like, we have to do better. Everybody got to do better. As
a society, as a community, we've evolved beyond being absentee fathers. That's not fly. Like, this ain't the 80s, bro. You can't be out here making babies and abandoning them. This is not, like, I don't even know men who still think this is cool. There are stats that show that Black fathers in 2025 are showing up greater than any other group of men, right? We're spending exponentially more time with our children, investing not just time, but emotion, wisdom, all the things that help create and foster healthy children. That's what we are doing. And so for you to be one of the most famous and influential among us, to take a position of a lackadaisical father, like, forget being the face of the NBA, bro. Like, I wouldn't even want to shake your hand. We don't shake the hands of men who don't show up for their children. We don't respect or acknowledge them.
But you're an anomaly, Rodney.
No, I'm not an anomaly.
I'm saying you are, because most people aren't going to give him the disrespect that he deserves. Man, and he's not gonna, I know it, but it's the truth. Most people aren't gonna call him out. His teammates aren't going to call him out. His coaches aren't going to say, look, dude, like, what's going on? Obviously, nobody in his circle is saying anything because he keeps having kids. And the women that are still probably throwing themselves at him or responding to the DMs, they not saying, dude, like, ew.
I don't know how far this video will go. I don't know who will see it, who won't see it. I'm very connected to people around him. And, you know, what I said probably will offend my political connects. But I also would challenge my folks who are in close proximity to him to make him be a better man. And that has nothing to do with his brand deals or his commercials or his smile or his gregarious personality. It has everything to do with cultivating a culture of being responsible for the lives that we create. Like, I don't give a damn about no colorful commercial if you're not showing up for your children. I won't buy your shoes if you're not showing up for your kids. And I'm super forgiving for a lot of things. But being an absent father, that's where I draw the line. We ain't no deadbeats. We not acknowledging deadbeats. Point blank, period. Yeah. So that's all I got to say about that. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments section on Anthony Edwards receiving the fumble of the week for foregoing all parental rights for his youngest child. How you feel about that?
All right, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Fumble. Make sure to subscribe to The Fumble and at The Fumble Sports on all of our social media platforms. You can catch us every day right here with myself, Samaria Terry, and my co-host, Rodney Rikai.
Take care of your damn kids.